Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Hello and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Once again, we're joined by Don, Robbie.
Yeah, good.
How are you? Said he was good.
No, I'm good, man. Yeah, I mean, now that the rats have deserted the sinking ship, the ship has sunk. You know what I mean? I'm feeling good.
Love that. Well, listen, guys, just before we get into this reaction to the debacle that has been the European Super League, a quick reminder, if you just pan up here, this competition is still on, guys. We're announcing the winner of this after the fan cams of the Man United game on May the 1st. Someone can win this, Robbie, and all they have to do is tell us who that signature belongs to. That one just up there. You've seen the video online. You know what you have to do now. Leave a comment. It's that one there with the S. So all you have to do is leave a comment. You can even do it in this video of who you think that signature belongs to, and make sure you subscribe to the Kop TV as well. If you don't do that, you can't be in with a chance to win it. Robbie, who do you reckon it is?
No, I'm not going to tell it.
Ah, see, he's clever. Can't give the game away. Can't give the game away. Right, now, listen, what a time to talk to you, by the way. I really appreciate it. I know you've been dragged from pillar to post recently to talk about this mess that is the European Super League. The latest is all 6 English teams are out. We've just seen Inter Milan, Atletico, AC Milan are out. We also know that Real Madrid and Barcelona are still in. John Henry this morning, the Liverpool chairman, has come out with, I'm not even going to call it an apology, Robbie. I think it was a pathetic response, really, to overwhelming criticism of his decision to put Liverpool into this Super League. I mean, what has your reaction been like to the news that's happened really so quickly in the last kind of day or so?
I think it's been unbelievable. You know, the fans, and let's have this right, I think the people that have really tipped the balance in this has been the fans, because the uproar that was caused by the fans led the politicians to start getting involved, and also the players saw how unhappy the fans were, and then the players started to get involved as well, and then that's what just tipped it over the edge. So I think, you know, credit's got to go to all the fans of all the various clubs of the Big Six, but not just the Big Six, just fans around the country that realised that this was an absolutely appalling idea. There was no consultation done by any of those so-called Big Six clubs with their fans, and it was just a money grab. You know what I mean? Every one of these, you know, I mean, I see John Henry coming out trying to apologise. Our owners, or, you know, they put out an apology yesterday. It's too late for me, right? You know, you've done it in secret, in dark, smoke-filled rooms, you know, and if they could have got away with it, which they thought they were going to get away with it, they would have done. I mean, I'm hearing a rumour that they all paid £8 million to get into it, to be part of it. So, you know, you don't do them put that sort of investment in. You don't go out and line up, you know, banks to fund it and stuff like that, TV deals in advance. I mean, we've been planning this for a long time, right? And they thought it was going to be another one of those plays where the fans would just accept it, moan about it, you know, when they're sitting down and they're doing their calculations, a certain percentage will moan, but everybody else will, eventually go with it. Well, not this time. Not this time. You know, they were trying to mess with the integrity of our football game, which says that if you're good enough to get into the top 4, you get into the Champions League, right? At the moment, out of the so-called Big Six, there's only 2 teams in the top 4. Mental. And I'm sure, you know, much as you love Liverpool to get into the top 4, if you don't make it, you don't deserve to be there, and you go again next season. Yeah, and what can we do to go again? And it's the same with Arsenal. We won't get in the top 4, but we've got a chance to get in there through the Europa League. But if we get knocked out, we go again. We might have to change a manager, we might have to do this, that, but we go again. That's what makes football so great. But they were trying to treat it like American sport. It's no surprise that half of the owners, your guy, our guy, the Glazers at Man United, the guys at Tottenham, they're all American owners. Even when you look at, Chelsea, it's Roman Abramovich, but the guy who's kind of spearheading the thing, that Bruce Buck, another American, right? And in their sport, There's no relegation, no promotion. You have a group of teams, they get a mega TV deal and they just chop it all up between them and they all make loads and loads of money guaranteed every year. That's what these guys were trying to do. When I saw the John Henry thing where he's going, oh, you know, we tried to do it for the best of the club. Same with our guys. They said the same thing in their statement. If you were trying to do it for the best of the club, why didn't you tell any of the club about it? Why didn't you tell the fans about it? Why didn't you even tell your own employees? There's top employees at Arsenal, knew nothing about it. The manager didn't know nothing about it. I saw Klopp's interview the other day. He knew nothing about it. So if you're doing it for the best of the club, how can your manager not know about it? Absolutely atrocious.
It is atrocious. And you know, when you spin it like that and say that these smoke-filled rooms, they've been occupied by these kind of 6 to 8 people now for months. Whilst we were probably still celebrating the league title, they're planning for this stuff. And
I think longer than months.
it must be. It must be 6 months plus. But, I mean, what you're saying there about John Henry and his apology video, he's come out and he said, realistically, and it doesn't need to be said, but we'll say it anyway, this could never have gone ahead without you, the fan support. You know, we're so sorry. We've listened to you. If you've listened to us in the first place and don't ruin football, because then we wouldn't be in this situation where everyone is trying to make a buck off of a sport that really is the most, in my opinion, accessible sport in the world. All you need to do to play is get a ball, and people make that out of socks. You can make it out of whatever it is. That's the part of the game that you'll be killing by implementing the Super League. It's not just the top level, it's the mid-tier and the grassroots. I mean, you're going to have kids that if the Super League did go ahead, they'd be saying, well, if I can't play for a Super League team, what's the point? And all of a sudden, there's total disconnection.
They don't care, Alex. They don't care. They don't give a toss about that. They didn't even give a toss about their own colleagues in the Premier League. These clubs as well, what I can't understand, in the Premier League, they're making billions already. It's the richest league in the world, yeah? And they're still not satisfied with that, right? They didn't care about Everton. They didn't care about West Ham. They didn't care about, you know, Leicester, any of these other clubs, Villa. They don't give a toss. They're like, we're going off to form our own thing to make our own money. They're despicable people, man. They don't care about, you know, when they talk about grassroots football. I remember them saying at the time, oh, and we're going to have a women's league too. You don't care about that. You're just doing that. You're just doing that to try and sound good. You don't care about women's football. You don't care about grassroots football. All you care about is your own pocket. And it's not months they would have been planning this, years. I think it's years.
Well, Wenger predicted this 10 years ago.
Yeah. I think they've been planning this for years, right? And you think about it, when you really break it down, right? They want, let's just have it right. It's all about money, right? So they want to guarantee that they're going to be in the biggest tournament every year, which at the moment they can't get that with the Champions League. You've got to be in the top 4. Then also, even if you are in the top 4, think about this as well. Even if you are in the top 4 and you get into the Champions League, if you have a bad time of it, like what happened to Man United this season, you're only going to play 6 games because you're in the group, your group stages. You've got 4 teams in there. You're going to play 3 of those teams twice. So Man United played that. They played 3 of those twice. They played 6 games and they got knocked out. Demoted into that's another matter, which is ridiculous, demoted into Europa League. But they played 3 games in the Champions League against the top tier teams, right? Under this new system, they were going to have 20 teams divided into 2 sections. That means you'd be guaranteed you play 18 games because you've got to play 9 other teams. Guaranteed you play 18 games. Then you'd have the playoffs. And if you get beyond that, then, you know, you're in the final or whatever, right? So basically, they would then be able to have all the TV money around that, all the sponsorship, this, that. So they're just making so much more money. That's all it is. They've got nothing. They don't care about anything else apart from it was all planned to maximize and make them as much money as possible. And what would have happened to the Premier League? Yeah. The Premier League, as I've said to people, would have become the Carabao League. Because it'd be like the Carabao Cup, which is now a bit of a joke where nobody plays a strong team until the end of it, right? It would have been just like that in the Premier League. If Liverpool or Arsenal have got PSG this week Wednesday, followed by Real Madrid next week Wednesday, and sandwiched in between there, they've got a game against Fulham. what sort of team do you think they'd be putting out for that game? You know what I mean? The league would have... So these guys, I'm sorry, sorry's not good enough for me. You guys at Liverpool might accept it because, maybe...
No, trust me, no one's accepting that if they've got a brain.
Your guys got a bit more credit in the bank. They won you the Champions League, you've won the league, you've seen better players, you've seen, us at Arsenal, we've been going through this for years with our owners. No apology is not going to be acceptable. He needs to leave now. Go.
We were chatting downstairs a bit earlier about a quote that we heard on Sky Sports News yesterday where it's alleged that a top 6 owner apparently turned up to a game and said, who is on our team? Which team are we? Couldn't tell. I mean, there's been rumours that once you whittled them all down, it could have been Kroenke saying that.
I fully believe it's him because, that guy, he's had no interest in Arsenal whatsoever. He don't come to any games. I've seen John Henry at games.
And his wife.
Yeah, you don't see Kroenke. The only time, I think the last game I saw him was like a cup final. He don't turn.
Fair weather fan.
Yeah, he don't come. He does not. He wasn't even at the final in Baku, right? He wasn't there. I think his son came. He's not interested. But when the Super Bowl was on, and he's
front row
Super Bowl final, he was there. He even gave an interview on TV. I was like, shit, he can talk. I never heard him talk before, really. You know what I mean? Serious, man. These people, him and many of those other owners need to leave now, right? And this could be a turning point. I'd love to see the government bring in some sort of legislation where we can have a system similar to what they've got over there in Germany. I mean, basically, I don't know what the government are going to do, but they have to do something so that something like what we saw over the past few days never, ever happens again, right? That football fans don't feel that their clubs are being ripped from them and that the sport that we've grown up loving and the way it's done is, I'm all for modernisation. I don't mind when sports are modernised, yeah? Because you can't keep a sport the same as it was in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, right? You've got to move on. You've got to innovate in order to bring in new fans. You've got to, you've got to move with the times. I do agree with that. But there's certain principles that comes and responsibilities and that come with that must be protected. And the government, I'd love to see them follow up the pressure that they put on these owners with some real sort of things that ensures that we'll never be in this sort of position ever again.
Well, there you go. The debacle of the European Super League is over. It's now not happening, only 48 hours after it was announced. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more fallout from this. It definitely isn't going to be the last time we speak about this, unfortunately. Protest outside the Emirates.
Yeah, protest planned at Arsenal on Friday ahead of the Everton game. And I think of all the fans, our owners, they're probably under the most pressure because they got no credit in the bank, nothing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll look forward to the footage from that. Please, if you haven't already, remember, like, comment and subscribe to the Kop TV. We're still giving away this bad boy next Sunday after the Man U game in the Premier League, that is. Not the Super League. We'll be looking forward to that one. Robbie, all the best, bro. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Whoa. Just before you go...
Don't forget, give us a like, drop us a comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous stand.